Hello, dear students. I am Rekha Bajaj, and today I am here with you to discuss a poem from your first flight book named A Tiger in the Zoo, composed by Leslie Norris. Before proceeding with the chapter, I would like to give you a short description of the poet. Leslie Norris was a prize winning Welsh poet and short story writer who was born on 21st May 1921. He is considered as the most important Welsh writer, and his literary works have won many prizes. His famous works are Finding Gold, The Loud Winder, Sliding, Phoenix Living Poets series, Ransoms, etc. This poem consists of 5 stanzas, and each stanza is of 4 lines. The poem contrasts the life of a tiger when it is in its natural habitat and when it is imprisoned in a zoo. The poem moves from zoo to the jungle and back again to the zoo. The poet explains the agony and helplessness of a caged tiger that lives in a zoo. It describes how the cage life has totally changed the tiger's personality. The animal, which is famous for its fearlessness, how its freedom confined due to human beings who want to derive pleasure by looking it in the cage. Now let's see the explanation of the poem. He stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. Here he refers to tiger. Stalks means follow or walk. Vivid means bright colored. Pads means paws of tiger. Rage means violent, uncontrollable anger. In this first stanza, the poet describes the movements and actions of the tiger in the cage. He says that the tiger is confined in the zoo, moves around the cage with its bright colored skin. The stripes in its body are quite prominent or can be seen easily at the yellow surface of its body. In a zoo, the tiger walks in the limited space provided to it in the cage. He can take only steps. Then the poet compares the paws of the tiger with that of the velvet. Velvet, which is very soft material. So the poet says, its paws are soft like velvet. No noise is produced when it walks on its pads of velvet. One cannot hear its footstep because it has soft paws or feet like velvet, because of which there is no sound of the tiger's footsteps. The tiger is angry as it is not free. It tries to control or suppress its anger as it is helpless and quietly walking in the limited area of the cage. The poet is filled with pity while looking at the imprisoned tiger and suggests that the cage is not the proper place for the tiger. So, where it should be, and what does the poet want? Now, see in this stanza. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass. Lurking means to be hidden as to wait for your prey. Plump means fat. So, according to the poet, the tiger should be in its natural habitat or in its natural form. In the jungle, the tiger should be lying in the shadow of trees or hiding itself behind long grasses so that its prey will not be able to deduct its movement. The tiger should have moved near the water hole where all the animals of the forest come to drink water. There it should be waiting for some fat deer to pass to attack on it. In this way, the poet feels that the tiger should have been moving freely in the forest. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. Snarling means to make a deep, rough sound, usually in anger. Baring means uncovered or to show something. Fangs means sharp teeth of animals. So here the poet gives another suggestion that the tiger should be growling at the edge of jungle near some village, and on seeing the villager it should show its long sharp teeth and claws to terrorize the residents of the village. So we can see the poet emphasizes that the wild animals are meant to live in the wild. They are not meant to be caged and displayed in the zoo. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. Concrete means building material made from a mixture of cement, sand, and water. In these last two stanzas, the poet again takes the readers to the zoo where the tiger is locked in a strong cell which is made of strong building material. As the tiger is behind the bar, so its aggressiveness, its strength or power is also locked in the bar. It cannot show its strength as the strong bars stopped it. The tiger pays no attention to the visitors who come to see it every day in the zoo. Instead of this, the tiger very slowly and silently moves along the length of the cage as its power is restricted by the cage. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Patrolling means to guard something. During night time, the tiger hears the sound of the patrolling cars. Patrolling cars are the vehicles which are used to guard at night. So, in the night, it hears the sound of these cars of the zoo authority. The poet further says that the tiger looks at the shining stars with its shining eyes. It seems that the tiger is looking for some sort of comfort and hope in these stars. Its bright eyes shows that it is still hopes for the day when it would be able to run freely in the forest. So with this, the explanation is completed. Now let's see the message that the poet conveys. Wild animals should be in their natural habitat. Caging wild animal also lead to disturbance of ecological balance, so they are not meant for confinement. Next, love for freedom is the natural instinct of every living being. Animals also have a right to live freely, especially wild animals belong to the forest and not for the cage. At last, let's see the poetic devices of the poem. The rhyme scheme of the poem is A B C B. For example, in stanza first, the last word of second line and fourth line Cage and rage are rhymed with each other, so they are marked as BB. But the last word of first line stripes and the last word of third line quite are not rhymed with each other, so they are marked as ANC, and the rhyme scheme becomes ABCB. It is followed in the whole poem. The next device is personification. For example, as the tiger is personified because the poet refers it as he in the poem. Next, metaphor is used as the tiger's paws are compared with velvet. Then enjambment is used in the poem as the sentence is continuing to the next line without any punctuation mark. For example, sliding through long grass near the water hole where plum deer pass. Then he should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge. You can also find the example of alliteration used in the poem. For example, plum deer pass. Next example, behind bars. So here P and B sound are being repeated at the start of closely placed words. So with this we come to an end of this video. Goodbye and take care.